Okay, so today I want to talk about setting up a development environment on Snow Leopard. And if you don't have any experience with it, that's quite okay, but if you do, you might want to skip over this one. It's a little easy one today. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to basically, I don't want to bring my whole site down. I just want to have a Joe Schmo default WordPress install. Okay, so the first thing I want to make sure that I do is open up System Preferences and make sure that I've got Apache running. And the easy way to do that is just come down here to Sharing and make sure that web sharing is checked on. If it isn't, go ahead and check it, and you'll get an IP address and all that fun stuff. If for some reason your the padlock's locked, just click it, enter your password, and then you can go ahead and edit this stuff. Okay, so once we've got that going, we know we're good there. Now the next thing that we need to do is you need to install MySQL. We're not going to go through that right now. We're just going to assume you've got MySQL running. And if I go back into System Preferences and go down here to MySQL, you can see that MySQL Server instance is in fact running. Okay, so let's go out to WordPress.org, and now one thing you could do is you could download it like this. So I'm just going to go ahead and say, yep, let's download it. And we'll download the zip file here. And it's finishing. Okay, there we go. We're just going to go ahead and open that folder up. And what I like to do is I like to just select everything in here, copy it. And now I use my sites folder as my playground. And so I'm just going to go ahead and create a new, oops, wrong button there. Create a new folder. And we're going to call it Demo Site. And go ahead and open that folder up and paste those files in there. Alright, so now that we've got that, we need to set up our virtual host. And for that, I like to use Virtual Host X. Great application. You can see I've got different sites down through here. And so we're just going to go ahead and add a host, and we're going to call it we'll call it demosite.dev. We'll go with my .dev environment here, and we'll choose a local path. So now we just navigate to Sites, and we find Demo Site. Click Open, and we apply changes. And it'll ask us for our password, so we go ahead and put that in. And then we go ahead and just restart Apache, and you can see down here it didn't actually say, oh, there it goes. It says stopped, and in a second it's now running again, so we are now good to go. So let's go ahead and let's just go right here to demosite.dev, and I think the first time we should just put the HTTP in there, and now we've got this opened up. So what I like to use is a app called Coda, and mainly I use Coda because it's got some Subversion and FTP and CSS and PHP stuff going on. But what I'm going to do is I'll go ahead and set up a site. So we go over here to Sites, and we just click Add a Site, and now we put it in, so we call it Demo Site. Give it the root URL. We don't need to give it because it's not actually on the internet anywhere. So we just want this site here. Oops, demosite.dev. And we don't need a remote element or remote root because we're not using that anywhere. So we do need to get the local root. So let's go ahead and set that. And it should be really easy. It's right there. And once that's done, we're not connecting to a server, we're not needing terminal, we're not doing source control, anything like that. So let's just save it, and it'll come up down here. Then open it on up. And then what I like to do is just go ahead and open up the sample config file. Now the one thing that we forgot to do is we haven't created a database yet, so we need to go ahead and do that. So you can go into Terminal, You could actually go in right here, and if we had a click over here to local and click connect, and it would then connect us in and should get us in eventually. There we go. So we could go that way, but we don't need to do that. I use something called SQL Pro, which is a database, MySQL database application. So we want our local host favorite over here. So let's just go ahead and connect. And then we just add a new database. We'll call it demo site underscore dev. Add it. And then let's go back to our config here. And for this, we need to go demo site dev. Our username is root. So we'll go ahead and put that in. And I don't use a password locally. So everything else is right. Just look at everything else, make sure that's all right. So now let's do a file save as. And basically we're just getting rid of that dash and a sample. So there we go. And now let's go back to Safari. And let's just refresh this. So now you'll see that we got the WP admin install. So we'll just call this demo site. And here's something new with 3.0. You can actually create your own username. So we're going to go AJ Morris, because that's what I like using for demo usernames locally here. And then put in a password. Okay, and it's weak. I'm not too worried about that. And then you need to put in your email here. Okay, so once you've done that, let's just click Install WordPress. Go through their little 5-minute or 5-step easy stuff here. And we'll just go ahead and log in. And now that we're logged in, let's just go open up a new tab. And here you go. Now we've got our demo site, and we are ready to go. There you have it. There's getting a site up and running. Thanks for watching, and hopefully the next series we'll have we'll go a little bit more in depth. Maybe we'll talk about I guess we'll talk about the theme next, since this is a new theme. So stay tuned for that. Thanks.